In case you don't already know, I've got an entire Facebook ads and Instagram ads playlist on my channel. If you just click to playlist, you'll find both of them in there. Bunch of tutorials on how to run ads successfully. And it's basically just a free course because I don't sell a course, so I have no problem putting out all my secrets or just legit how I do things. So bunch of really good information in there. I did notice though that there's one video, I've touched on this in bits and pieces throughout those other tutorials, but I haven't done one video fully in depth on data and data analysis. How I set up my tables, so once you get data back, how I set everything up so that I'm looking at what I want to be looking at, and I'm going to explain what that is, why that is, and also and then after I show you that, I'll show you some other spots you can dig into to look even deeper into data, and also I'll show you how to look at data inside of your Pixel in case you need to or want to do that. So that's what we're going to go through in this video, and basically what I'm going to show you is, just in case you're not familiar with what a funnel is, some people are, some people aren't, but funnel is basically like the process of someone seeing your ad for the first time, all the steps that they have to take until they've actually purchased and spent their money. Then it even goes beyond that. You've got retargeting campaigns, email campaigns, returning customers, all that sort of thing. But basically, oh yeah, and by the way, this is going to be, I'm going to focus on we're selling something, so this is going to be mainly for conversion campaigns. So from when someone sees your ad for the first time all the way up into the purchase and every step in between, they see your content, how long did they watch your ad, did they click your ad, did they add to cart, did they buy, all those little steps in between, that's your funnel. And so I'm going to show you how, what data points to build out and how I like to build it out inside my ads manager to see that clearly, and then also to like I said, I'm going to break down what are the most important ones to pay attention to. I've said this in my other videos, but oftentimes people just get stuck paying attention to data points that don't really matter. They heard it from some guru, or they heard it somewhere, or they just think that this data point matters more than it does. But I'm going to explain this more as we go, but ultimately what matters is how much are you spending and how much are you making. Ultimately, you need to be making more than you're spending. Okay, so this right here is the ads manager. If you haven't ran any ads yet, it'll just be blank like this. Once you have run some ads, and again, go check out my tutorials for how to run ads, how to target, all that good stuff, lookalike audiences. And once you've done that, then you'll have some tables that pop up here with some data. So this is what it looks like once you've ran some ads and got some data back. We're going to be clicking into this top campaign right here, this post test 1. I actually just started this last night, so it hasn't been running that long. So that'll be good for jumping into it and looking at the data as it's starting to come in and seeing what's working and what's not. You always want to make sure, and I mentioned this in my other videos a lot, that you do give your ads enough money to actually get enough data back to see if they've been working or not. I know it's cool that you can set a budget to $2 or $5, but oftentimes, not oftentimes, almost always, you really want to give it enough money. And what I mean by that, is you should really, I won't spend too much time here on this, but you really want to figure out what your profit margins are. And basically, I like to give the daily budget of an ad set basically up to my break-even point. And I, cross fingers that a sale happens well before that. But if not, worst case scenario, at break-even, I'll turn off the ad. So we'll click into this first campaign here. Okay, and I only have one ad set in here right now, but inside this ad set, I have 4 or 5 different ads. What is it? 1, 2, 5 different ads. And the reason that, so typically, just in case you pay attention to my other tutorials, most often I recommend that you test a bunch of different ad sets with a bunch of different audiences to find the audiences that work, and then that's a good time to throw a bunch of different creatives at them, because if you test a bunch of different creatives without having found an audience first, then you could just be wasting money. Even if you have the best creative, you're putting it in front of the wrong people, so it's never going to work. So I usually recommend a bunch of ad sets with a bunch of different audiences that you're testing with very small amounts of creative that you're testing until you find an audience that works or audiences that convert, and then you can start to test a bunch of different creative and clearly see which creative is better. And that's what's going on right here actually, is I've already identified from previous campaigns an audience that works. And by the way, this video right here, I break down what this is and it works. I've done this over and over. If you're running ads and you've got an IG with some data, like people that have been interacting with it, definitely check out that video and use that strategy, because that's what I've been doing here. I've used it several times. It works super well. So this is an audience that I've already identified as a converting audience. It's a good audience, the right audience to be targeting. So that's why I'm just what I want to do is figure out which one of these ads, which are actually IG posts, existing posts that I'm running as the creative, I just quickly wanted to figure out which one of these is best, and then I'm going to take that one and I'm going to send it to a few different audiences and do it that way. So basically this test, I'm just trying to figure out which piece of creative is the best, and then I'm going to run that creative to the audience, and that should be a pretty high ROAS. And just so if we look right here so far, where's the ROAS? Right here. So we've got one purchase at a 39.47, and then another purchase that's coming at a 234. These ones haven't hit yet. Again, I just started this last night, so that's a total so far of a 435 ROAS. ROAS, in case you don't know what it is, it's return on ad spend, and that's revenue. So how that works is, say you spend $10 and that makes you a $100 sale on your website, $100 in revenue. That means the $10 you spent made you $100 in revenue, which is a 10x multiple on the 10 that you spent, so your ROAS is 10. If you spent $1 and made 4 in revenue, your ROAS is going to be 4. So your ROAS isn't profits, it's revenue. So if you get a ROAS 10, so you basically want to figure out where your profit, where your break even is according to your ROAS. So then you can be watching your ROAS and kind of know if that's making or losing you money profit-wise. Anything above a 1 means you're making more money than you spent revenue-wise. But depending on how your numbers and costs break down in the back end, it could be showing a profitable ROAS, meaning a ROAS that's earning you more revenue than you're spending, but in your back end numbers you still could be losing money. Hopefully that makes sense, but it's important to, that's a big part of Facebook ads, is the numbers and the data, and making sure, especially when you're trying to scale and like really make some money from them, you've got to make sure you know your numbers and you know that if you're making money or losing money. So that's what ROAS is. So that's pretty good so far. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like this. Well, we'll go through the data right here, I guess, and I'll start. I'm jumping ahead of myself here. So first things first. So let's do data tables. Okay, so I'll show you here in the ad set level how I like to set up the columns, the data table, so I can view everything how I like to. And then by setting it up here in the ad set column, it'll also set up in the ads column. Then you can also make it so you can just make it so it's set so these tables show the same tables at the campaign, ad set, and ad level. But then you can also go in and make little adjustments to each one of those levels if you want to. But I'll just show you here at the ad set level, because that's usually where I like to gauge stuff. In this case, I want to be looking at the ads because it's the ads that I'm testing. But what I'm going to show you right here will set up both the ad sets and the ads, how I like to see them. So first what you want to do is come to this drop down menu and then scroll down, and then customize columns is what we want to click. If you see right here, I've got SCO heavy video, SCO heavy image, and SCO light, like I explained a little bit earlier. So if you click customize columns, that'll bring up this box here, and you've got all these different options that you can click on and off. And when you click them on, they show up in this right column, and you can drag and drop and change them into whatever order you want. And then when you want to save that, if you want to save that as a preset in the bottom left here, give that a click, give it a name, and then just click apply. And then if you click the columns again, you'll see that that one's selected. And then now if you want to make a change to the name settings, you can just click customize columns, make whatever change you want to make, and then just make sure and come down here and click save as preset again, and it should just show the preset's name right there. And so you can just click apply. It'll make sure that you want to rename it. Really, we're just making that one change, so yes, rename. So that's how you make edits to a preset. Now I'll click on here again and we'll look at my SCO light. Okay, so my SCO light is really my go-to quick view of am I making money, losing money type of thing. Again, well, another way to look at it is these are the most important data points. SCO light is the most important data points to be looking at. SCO heavy is the more in-depth analysis of the funnel, the full length of the funnel. So right here I've got basically just so the ad set name. So I don't know what the best way is to look at this for you guys, honestly. So I'll show you both ways. I'll pull up the customized columns first right here, show you how I set it up. So if we look at the right column, these are all the ones that I brought in, and that's the order of them. And so this is what it looks like over here in the column. So we've got delivery. So I got ad set name. I like to know which ad set I'm looking at. Delivery, I leave that there to make sure I know that it's running active, there's not an error or something like that. Amount spent, and then purchases. I like to see that like right next to each other. I like to see, that it's been spending, how much, and then is that getting me purchases? So like my eyes pretty much go straight to, are there purchases? Okay, good, there's purchases. That's usually how I want it to go. It's usually how it goes. And And then I start looking at cost per purchase, ROAS. I'll probably for the most part look at purchases and then ROAS. And then from there I'll start to look at like, okay, how much did it cost me to get that purchase? You know, if link clicks, honestly, people get really hung up on link clicks, and I'll show you why they do matter, but not as much as you think they do. I'll just show you right here. So if I click into the ads, unique link clicks. Okay, it's not in the light version. So I'll switch to the heavy version and show you in a second why link clicks aren't as important. But I'll just finish showing you my light version right here, link clicks. And then I see some add to cart, checkout, how much the checkout cost me, and then the frequency, which is how many times each person has seen your ad. So if your frequency starts getting close to 2 or going up above 2, 3, then that means people are seeing the same ad several times, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes repetition is very good. The way you want to pay attention to that number is if your frequency is going up, just pay attention to your conversions, your cost per conversion, your ROAS. If those things are going down while your frequency is going up, that probably means people are getting sick of your ad, and you should probably switch a new creative in there. But if your frequency is going up and your conversions and ROAS also are staying the same or also going up or not dropping that much, then it's not really a big deal. But it's only a big deal once you start to see sales go down or profits go down. Then that maybe means your frequency is getting a little too high, and like I said, throw a new piece of creative in there. Okay, so that's the light version right there. Let me show you heavy video. This is what I call it. Okay, and I'll show you inside here the custom columns real fast, what that looks like. Here's how I have those set up, just in case anyone wants to jump in there and copy those. Hopefully that shows up okay. So here's how I've got it set up. Same thing, learning, budget, amount spent, and then I jump right into impressions. The heavy is where I really build out the funnel from like the first time someone sees it all the way through with hopefully a purchase. So impressions, that's your ad being shown to somebody. Cost per impression is how much it costs to show your ad to 1,000 people. So in this case, it cost me $9 to show this ad or these 5 ads to 1,000 people. Now this is my SCO heavy video one. So next up is, the reason it's called video is because I'm assuming that the ad that I'm running is a video. And so that's, once it shows up in front of people, the impression, I want to understand, are they watching the video in front of them? If so, how long is that sort of thing. So the next thing I'm looking at is video, 3-second video plays. These are just, you can pick different increments. These are the ones I like to pay attention to. 3-second video play, 50%, 95%, and then the video average play time. So in this case, none of these ads are video. They're all carousel, I believe. Maybe one, no, they're all carousel. And so that's why I have a SCO heavy image, because I don't need to have this video data in here. But if you are running videos, then this is how I would set that up. And then from there, so once people see your ad, then you want them to click, and there's kind of a couple ways they can click. They can click on your ad, around your ad, comments, they could click like or whatever, and that counts as a click. But then the click-through, like actually clicking to whichever link you put on the ad. So in this case, we're assuming we're selling something on our website. So to your shop page or product page is probably the link that you're going to want to use. Most of the time, honestly, a product page will work best. If you're selling one specific product, you just link straight to that product page. That's usually what works best. If it's an ad for several products, then maybe you want to link to your shop page, something like that. But that's what this unique CTR link click-through rate is to see. So 2.35% clicked, engaged somehow with some click on the ad, but 0.56% have actually clicked the link and gone to the website, so the actual link that we set up on the ad. And there's been 21 unique link clicks. Each one of those has cost $1.80 so far. Unique content views, so this is how you can know that they've actually landed on the page and are viewing it. Maybe they clicked and it took too long to load or something, so they got distracted and they didn't. So there can be a drop off just from click to view content on the page, just in that couple seconds or whatever. You can lose people. So that's what that's kind of showing here. So and then once they viewed it, the next thing that you're hoping that they do is add that product to their cart now. So that's the next thing that we're looking at here is unique adds to cart. And unique, by the way, just means a new person, so it's not the same person adding to the cart multiple times. Unique is 5 different people that added to cart. And this is how much each add to cart cost. Unique checkouts, because that's the next one. Once they've added to cart, you want them to continue the checkout. And then from the checkout, you want them to purchase. And then this is once they've made their purchases. These are the really important data points I like to pay attention to. Again, these are the main ones that I threw in my light version, which is cost per purchase and ROAS. So that's, I look to those numbers quickly to see how much am I making? Did I make money? Did I lose money? Purchase conversion value. So this tells you how much you're making, how much you made off of those purchases. By the way, you can hover over each one of these, and Facebook usually does a pretty good job at telling you what each term means. And then lastly, I have reach here. So how many people saw the ad. So impression is how many times the ad got shown. Reach is how many people saw the ad. It can vary slightly. And then frequency, I explained that. Okay, so now let's click into the ad section, and it's basically all that same except just a couple things different at the end. So here's the beginning of it. You'll see amount spent, impressions, video plays, link clicks, and then you got like your add to cart, checkout, all that, purchase. And then the only thing I like to add here also is the conversion rate ranking, quality ranking, engagement rate ranking. So like right here, you'll see average, average, above average. These other ones haven't populated the data in yet because it's just too new of a campaign. Like I said, I started it last night, but those are good to pay attention to, especially if you see those drop, if they say like below average, that sort of thing. Because what that's telling you is, because how it works is you're bidding against other people to show up in people's feeds, and Facebook takes into account several factors when it's choosing whose ad they're going to show. Only one of those factors is how much you're willing to spend, what your bid amount is. But other factors are like quality of ad, quality of engagement, all that sort of thing. So Facebook is letting you know right here, it's comparing your ad to other people's and letting you know, is it average when compared to other people's? Is it performing better? And ultimately what you want to go for is performing better, because then that means Facebook will be trying to choose to show your ad to people more often and for less money than these other people. Okay, link clicks. I wanted to say why link clicks don't matter. So right here, unique purchases. I'm going to sort that column from high to low just so we get the purchases here up top. And let's look at the link clicks. This one got 9 link clicks. This one only got 1 link click. This link click costs, or these 9 on average cost $1.44, and this 1 link click costs $3.46. So more than double these other 9 link clicks. But if we scroll over, you'll see that the ROAS on the ad with the more expensive link click is much, much higher than the other ad that got 9 clicks with a much lower cost of link click. So my point here is that cost of link click, or how many link clicks, doesn't always or even necessarily ever coordinate, whatever word you want to use, directly with purchases. So a lot of times people will try and like focus on link clicks and how many link clicks and get the cheapest link clicks, but no, you really just need to pay attention to purchases. And then it's good to also look at link clicks just because it's more data to pay attention to. It's a different piece of the process along the way, different step in your funnel. But ultimately, I mean, I see this over and over and over again, where like if you were just paying attention to link clicks, you would have missed out on really good money, because the lesser link clicks or the more expensive link clicks are making you more money through the actual purchases that are happening. So again, just don't get hung up on data points that don't matter. That's why I like to use that light version and the heavy version. Very good to use the heavy version, but that light version is just a quick, am I making money? How much money am I making? And like I said, none of these were video ads. So that's why I have the heavy image one, so I can just filter out. I don't need to look at any of those video view columns. Okay, so I think that's it for how to set up data tables and what data points to pay attention to and all that. Look, honestly, it's kind of hard. Like I do calls with people, and it's a lot easier to talk it through or explain when there's actually a person there to give some sort of feedback or ask a question or whatever. So if I missed anything, just talking to myself, hit me up in the comments if I need to make another video. I think this is just a good one for, I mean, you got to know your numbers like I explained earlier. So this is a really good video to know if I missed anything, if I need to redo anything. I definitely will. So let me know in the comments if there's any questions or whatever. Anything I need to explain more in depth or more clearly. But now I'll show you a couple more places to look at data. So if you go into ad sets, well, you can stay in ad sets or ads, but if you hover over it, some people have inspect and some people don't. So if you click inspect right here, okay, so this doesn't have enough data yet because I just started launching this last night, but inspect right there will give you some different, will let you see some different data points. View charts also takes you into an area where you can see some different data points. So if I quickly just want to see where those two cells came from, I could click on demographics right here and see that it was a 18 to 24-year-old man and a 25 to 34-year-old man. And then placement, you know, that was on Instagram. So that's a good spot to look just for some quick data points. And then for the really in-depth stuff, this is where I like to go. I like to open up this grid menu, dot menu, whatever you call it. And then I like to come down here to analyze and report and ads reporting. And then inside here, it's basically the same thing as I showed you when setting up your data tables in the ads manager. But I think you can go a little bit more in depth in here and you can look at things in some different ways. But you've got your column over here on the right where you can pick all your different settings that you want. You pick the breakdown and then you switch it over to metrics and you pick the metrics that you want to show up. So you could do something like this. We could go ad set name. We could go placement and purchases we got right there. So if we sort column high to low, purchases, so you can see where the purchases are coming from. So like for this ad set, they came from 7 came from newsfeed, 2 came from Explore, 2 came from newsfeed, 1 from newsfeed. So I did this earlier. I came in here and looked and saw that, okay, we're getting sales from feed and not getting any from stories. So then I came in and I started running more ads to feed instead of story. So it's good for stuff like that. But there's just all sorts of stuff you can click through in here. Like we could add in, if I clicked off placement and did gender and age, you know, now we can see that those purchases are coming from mainly males and mainly in the 25 to 34-year-old range. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was the pixels. So if you pull up this menu again, click on Events Manager. So this is where you can see some of your pixel activity. It'll show you, I'll give you a graph right here, just an overview of your activity, but you can also scroll down and in this event section, you can see your events that have been firing or not firing if they haven't been firing. And you can click into them and get some more information on them if you click View Details and all that.